It does sound your voice sounds not robot-y, but, like, there is some sort of those, like, staticky prickle sounds you can sometimes hear? Sometimes it sounds like that, so I don't know if your mic is the volume is too high or you're too close. It kinda sounds maybe like that, I don't know. Or because it wasn't as bad when you moved away, when you moved Maya, but I don't yeah. I was worried it would get picked up for the audio at the end or when we go to edit and yay, that sounds good. You sound very clear. It was just like I don't know what the proper term for that is. That's good. Mine is not either, but Mary's not here. That's funny. It's like the one day I'm not wearing my glasses because I went outside today, so put contacts in. I just got new glasses because I had a new prescription. I got them from Warby Parker, and they have, like, that blue light filter on them, and it really makes a difference. Like, I'd never had glasses with them before. It's so my eyes don't get strained anymore at all, but I do take breaks from staring at a computer screen, so maybe that helps too. What happened? Oh, it's not coming through. That, like, prickle sound came back, so I wonder if that has something to do with it. But I was just like, "Maybe it's just my internet or something," like, so I was just gonna ignore it. Done with today's Duolingo. Well, I mean, I feel like
So
if
here's your
anyone
fucking spoiler alert.
I heard that. Did they did? What? Is your mic in your headphones? Okay.
Oh no, I don't want that one. I'm aware that chat can hear me now, but okay. V, I need you to try and talk right now. Like, just talk over me.
Okay.
So
I wish I knew a story to tell
Okay.
because
No.
they can't hear us.
No, they can hear
me.
Stop.
Now you sound like your voice sounds like a computer. Oh, I have an echo now. That's apparently what happened.
Okay. Oh, I don't know how the fuck OBS got messed up because that's the one thing that I never changed literally any settings on. But okay. I should be nice and clear. I know, right? Jen sounds right now. Do I sound correct to you, V?
Yeah, you do.
Perfect. Let's try.
Do you guys?
Mhm.
Do I sound echoey to chat still? Oh, John E. Carwash says clean now and no more echo.
Perfect.
Toasty says we're good. I don't know who Johnny Carwash is, but welcome.
Johnny is somebody that I met on Navi and Sam's streams.
Oh.
Yeah. Hey, Johnny. Hello, chat. Yuri is here. Apollo is here. Toasty is here.
Where's my sister?
I didn't see Muffin.
Damn, I text her.
Oh, okay.
Welcome, Stoned. Okay, is it Mystios?
Yeah, how do we say your name?
Pronunciation.
And look at that. We're only 10 minutes late.
Okay, my clock says 9:37 p.m. So that's 7 minutes late. I'm not going to take 10.
And technically
Mystios?
we've been recording for 6 minutes. So that's like we started on time.
Late shows equals best shows. That's true.
Okay.
Oh boy, do we have a show.
Let's get this show on the road.
Which one was Assassin's Creed 3? I might have.
I know.
Ezio was 2, right? I don't think I played 3 actually. Oh, Odyssey. I played 5 seconds of Odyssey years ago. So I don't remember anything. All right. I'm done.
I'm going to wait for the plane overhead to stop. And I am wearing glasses tonight. Oh, that's not good.
The PC get called Mystios. Oh, yeah, I don't remember that. But I mean, I don't think I finished Odyssey. Was Odyssey the one in Egypt? In ancient Egypt? Hi, Key. We would have never known. Nope, it's not that one. Okay. Wait, that was Assassin's Creed Origins, wasn't it? In ancient Egypt? So. Which one? I might have not played Odyssey at all then.
Odyssey is the one that Ben said that we should play because you get the fucking old lady.
Yeah, I did not play Odyssey. Okay. Haven't played that one. That sounds cool though. Maybe someday when I'm done with Cyberpunk again. Wait.
Are we ready?
I love Greek shit.
Me too.
Ready, Eddie.
Ready to score some Eddies?
Toasty said. Yeah, ready for some Eddies.
Okay. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Two Girls, One Ship, the podcast where we analyze, rate, and review all that the world of video game romances has to offer. I'm Genesis, the girl who struggled not to picture Vervada every time I saw the name V while doing research. So you have been doing some crazy ass shit in my head, dude.
It's funny. I didn't pick this name when I saw Cyberpunk. I've had the name Vervada since I was a teenager. But yeah, it's a crazy random happenstance. Wow. I'm not even drunk. Okay. And I'm Vervada, the girl who has definitely been getting up to crazy shit now that I've been replaying Cyberpunk. I just love Night City. My first playthrough was Street Kid. My current playthrough is Nomad. but I just can't bring myself to play as a corpo rat. If you're new here, welcome. But you should know, our podcast centers on character and romance analysis using specific in-game dialogue, so if you want to stay spoiler-free, then this isn't the podcast for you.
So here's your fucking spoiler alert.
Thanks for the spoiler alert, Sam. Just like with our previous episodes, we'll assume you have some background knowledge of the game and character in question, but we'll be providing context for those of you who may be unfamiliar. Also, quick content warning for discussions of self-harm and various kinds of violence and abuse. Night City is not a friendly place. So, get ready to brain dance. Today's episode is on Judy Alvarez from Cyberpunk 2077.
Know what I see looking at you? Walking, talking corpses.
Judy Alvarez is a member of the Mox, a gang comprised of punks and sex workers that arose out of a common need for self-defense. The abused and victimized banded together against another gang, the Tiger Claws, and formed the Mox. Judy functions as a skilled brain dance technician for the Mox. Suffice it to say that a brain dance is basically a virtual reality environment where you submerge fully both your conscious mind and your nervous system, so you can really feel and experience whatever's going on in the brain dance. Yeah, 2077 is wild.
Before Judy joined the Mox and became a talented techie, she was born in a small town called Laguna Bend, outside of the sprawling metropolis of Night City. She had an absent father, and her mother died when she was young. So Judy was raised primarily by her grandparents. Her grandfather is actually the one who first taught her some techie skills. She was poor and parentless, so the other kids in Laguna Bend bullied her, and she was an outcast. As she grew up in her small town, she realized that she liked women and stole a doll from a girl she had a crush on.
What I really wanted was for her to notice me. Ah, the days when dolls were just kids' toys and nothing else.
In Cyberpunk, doll is a slang term for a prostitute, but a specific type of prostitute that is basically a living, breathing doll. They don't remember anything that happens to them when the chip gets activated. It's really gross. And they're given behavioral chips to make them compliant. There is a lot of problematic stuff, even in the brightest lit corners of Night City, let alone the dark alleys and underbelly. Corporations run the city-state and are responsible for the flooding of Judy's hometown that forced her and her grandparents to move into an apartment in the Kabuki ward of Night City. They just decided they wanted a reservoir there, so they kicked everyone out of their homes. Yay for corporate colonialism. Her grandparents tried to adjust to city life for a few years, but eventually moved north to Oregon, and Judy has lived alone in the apartment ever since.
Judy eventually came to work for Clouds, a brothel in Night City, and that's how she came to know Evelyn, Tom, and Mako, who play a role in some of Cyberpunk's story missions. Judy began dating Mako, a doll, at Clouds, and helped Mako rank up by tweaking the stats of her behavioral chip, trying to help make things better for them at the brothel. Judy eventually left Clouds and began working at Lizzie's bar as a brain dance editor because she believed the Mox would help people out. She stayed in contact with her Clouds companions, but was also an outcast in the Mox as well, being far more idealistic than any dare to be in Night City. The Mox boss, Susie Q, often criticizes Judy for this.
Judy is unique in Cyberpunk in that she is woefully naive. Her fatal flaw is her impulsivity and hot-headedness. Johnny Silverhands actually sums it up real well.
She's all over the place. Refuses to take the door, jumps out a window, then acts all surprised when she gets hurt.
You see evidence of Judy's misplaced trust and quick devotion time and again. First with Evelyn, then with Maiko, and even with V, especially if you romance her. She's constantly at odds with Susie Q because she only thinks about the intention behind an action, not the consequences. Judy is exceptionally easily to manipulate. People use her trust and usually unrequited love to their advantage. Couple this with her inability to really think things through, and it can lead to some disastrous consequences. One of her tropes is known as the Indy ploy, named after Indiana Jones, another character who is notorious for making up shit as he goes.
When not Vervada V meets Judy, it's at the start of a mission called The Information. Evelyn Parker, Judy's old friend from her Clouds days, needs her to help you edit a virtue scroll, or a raw virtual environment that she had been recorded inside of Yorinobu Arasaka's penthouse in Arasaka Tower. If none of that means anything to you, have you even played Cyberpunk? Basically, it's a detailed recording of the richest kid's fancy apartment and all his fatal security flaws. It's time to gather intel for the big heist, and Evelyn knew that Judy was the best brain dance editor, so she was the perfect person to help out.
So, Judy helps, but only because Evelyn is her best friend. Fast forwarding to after the heist goes horribly wrong, your partner Jackie dies, and you get stuck with the punk rock terrorist version of Keanu Reeves in your brain. V meets up with Judy to try and find Evelyn. She's gone missing, and after a short while checking on all the leads, V and Judy make their way to a ripper doc known as Fingers. Ew, I hate that name. Ripper docs are people who implant cybernetic devices into organic bodies with varying degrees of finesse and skill. The name is definitely appropriate for Fingers. As you wait impatiently for the Ripper doc to see you, you can have this exchange with Judy.
She means a lot to you, doesn't she?
And you've arrived at that conclusion how exactly?
The moment you knew where she was, you sprang into action.
Once you get close to Evelyn, you never want to let her go.
It's interesting that Judy says this about not wanting to let Evelyn go. The game says that they are best friends, but we only ever see Evelyn use Judy for her techie skills. And the rest of the time, it's Judy splitting her heart open and charging forward for Evelyn's sake. A key distinction, though, is that Evelyn never asks Judy to do this for her. Evelyn left the mock safe house to go back to Clouds, where she was subsequently used, abused, given to Fingers, and then to the black market brain dance studio. She would have just died in a trash heap like countless other unlucky people in Night City if Judy hadn't tried to find her. But also, Judy didn't really save her from anything either.
Yeah, and this is the trigger warning for a brief mention of self-harm. After you help Judy rescue Evelyn, she will be an empty shell. Whatever was done to her caused her to recede into herself, and she's unresponsive, but awake and alive. She will eventually commit suicide, which totally destroys Judy. It's horrible. Out of some kind of sense of obligation, or maybe even codependency, Judy drags V into her bullheaded plan to enact revenge on what she perceives to be the main abuser to Evelyn, Clouds, the brothel Evelyn worked at, and the Tiger Claws, the gang that runs it. The reason Judy joined the Mocks in the first place is because they were formed to protect sex workers from the Tiger Claws. Lizzie's bar used to be owned by them, long story short. The sex workers and punks banded together to protect their own and kick out the oppressors. And that's exactly what Judy aims to do with Clouds.
And I completely understand where Judy is coming from. Losing people we care about to depression makes you feel useless and wanting to lash out at anyone or anything you can think of to blame. Fueled by pain and anger, she wrangles you in on the revenge scheme. And that's exactly what this is. Revenge. One small problem, though. The Mox don't want to do this. Only Judy does. So it is a noble goal. It is a noble goal to defend the weak and helpless. But depending on how you play it, you end up with a lot of dead dolls and a bitter Judy, or a Maiko at the helm of clouds and Judy feeling stupid. Maiko will offer to pay you. Do not take her money if you want to romance Judy. We're going to assume that you... Wait.
Like, you do want to romance her.
Got it. Okay. Do not take her money if you want to romance Judy. We're going to assume that you do, so no eddies for you.
Yeah, no matter how you play this mission, it doesn't work out the way Judy hoped it would. They say revenge is a dish best served cold, and there's a reason for that. Judy's pain and anger was hot and fresh, and it caused her to jump into the scheme with no thought to how she wanted it to work out. What did she think would happen to the brothel after she liberated the dolls? They still needed to work, and in Night City, Clouds is a pretty fancy place. The Tiger Claws at least kept them safe from other gangs and violence from the patrons, even if they abused the sex workers themselves. Morally, there is no white and black in Night City. Only dark, dark gray, and the best option to go with is to let Maiko run the brothel, even though that makes Judy mad at you.
So after this mission, Judy's romance opens up. She asks you to meet her outside Night City, and when you get there, she says she wants to scroll a virtue with 2 actors' experiences being recorded rather than just one. V and Judy tune into each other and dive into the reservoir. You guessed it. It's Judy's flooded hometown, and you're about to take a swim down memory lane. It's a really cute scene, with sounds from Judy's memories coming through their mental link for the virtue scrolling. She even hums a portion of the song Bells of Laguna Bend from the Cyberpunk soundtrack, although it's referred to by Street Kid V as Only You by Etta Sorrentino. This is actually Judy's theme song in the game too, which is a really cool fourth wall break. Oh. But before
Your glasses are not doing you any favors.
They are not. I was like, the paragraph ended, so that means it's your turn. All right. But before we finish up our swim with Judy, let's take a quick mid-break to hear from our sponsors, learn some fun facts, and thank our lovely patrons.
Mid-break. Fun facts time. The name Mox comes from the word moxie, a common slang word from the 1930s that means courageous spirit or pep. Definitely a fitting inspiration for the name of the gang that defends those that can't defend themselves. Judy's zodiac sign is Pisces, which if you're not into that shit, the symbol for Pisces is 2 fish swimming in opposite directions. Definitely appropriate for Miss Inner Turmoil. Also, the name of the mission where you dive with Judy in her flooded hometown is called Pyramid Song, which was inspired by the Radiohead song of the same name.
That song talks about diving into a river and seeing lots of things. I think that's even more fitting when you romance Judy, as the lyrics in the song go, all the things I used to see, all my lovers were there with me, all my pasts and futures. Kind of fitting. But it is time to thank the patrons. Toasty and Apollo, Meiji Moose and Captain Shanko, and Stone Mystios. And we have 2 new names to add to the list. The Teacups have joined the Patreon, and so has Psych. Major love to all of you. Big, big, big love. Words cannot express how much it means to see all of your names on this list. Oh, and Miss Theos, I didn't forget you last week. That episode was pre-recorded, so I didn't have the updated list at the time. So a little extra love sprinkled in for you this week. If you want your name to be on the list and to join us for the next patron chat, head over to patreon.com/2girls1ship to sign up. It's looking like the topic will be characters that you wish were romanceable. And I feel like this is going to be a great discussion. All right. Time to get back into our wetsuits and finish our dive with Judy.
Look pretty damn fine in that wetsuit.
Should see me in my Max Tech uniform.
Whoa. Mean you have one?
Indeed I do. Won it in a bet. Still hangs in my closet waiting for the right occasion.
Huh. I'm gonna hold you to that.
I love how flirty they sound. After the dive, it's late in the day, and Judy suggests staying in the small bungalow next to the reservoir. You both climb up the old rusty steps, and Judy offers to make some hot coffee. V goes outside and starts the generator, and you hear some of Judy's memories seep into your mind through the link. Judy rushes into the bathroom as you re-enter the bungalow. V will knock on the door, and Judy will confess that the tiger claws have raided Clouds, enacting their own revenge on the dolls due to Judy's revenge scheme. She's broken up about it, of course, because Judy is a bleeding heart in a city that gives 0 shits for anyone. She's literally too good, and it has a high price in Night City. But, as my favorite band, Fall Out Boy, sang back in 2008, the best of us can find happiness in misery. We've come to the romance culmination scene. Take us away, Jen.
All right. I think I was made for this. Okay. I want to start off by saying, wow. The level of actual romantic interaction before the physical takes place is perfection, chef's kiss. But when we get to showing that love, I honestly think I might have gotten a little red in the face. Like, that never happens. But oh, buddy, did I feel it. Okay, so one quick gameplay side note. If you don't want nudity, you don't have to. There are options that make it so that the scenes play out with underwear still on. Or you can go fully nude. Being honest, I watched the covered up version first because it wasn't listed on the video that it was that way. So my first watch through was fully clothed, and I blushed at the fully clothed version. I still feel the exact same way even watching the undressed version. Being able to see nipples doesn't bring more to the emotional connection that these two share. I mean, but it does make it a little bit sexier. And it makes it more risque, but the impact is the same regardless. Maybe impact wasn't the best choice of words. Moving on. Their scene starts so sweet and gentle, with touches of the face, and V being led by the hand to the bed. A kiss and a quick fade to black. When we see Judy next, she's on the bed waiting for you. We see V taking her time to explore with her hands all of the glorious swerves and curves and smooth skin. The sounds and position changes. The fully realized and thought out What do lesbians actually do while having sex? Just wow. V is a very, very generous lover from what I can see, and I did see quite a lot. Loud car just drove by. It then fades to black, and we see these two in the afterglow and the actual glow of a lit cigarette. I quit almost 3 years ago, but I still remember that feeling. No, I need to quit romanticizing it in my head because my addict brain says I miss it. And I do, but I don't want it back. But I do. So, the cigarette is passed back and forth, and then a fade to, wait, no. It keeps going. And going. And hell's bells, Judy is now above you. And she kisses her way down your stomach. And down. And down. And then that glorious ass is in the air. And that's pretty much where my brain fails, and I need to go take a cold shower. You wake up the next morning and find Judy on the docks, overlooking the water.
Here's your coffee. Finally.
Morning.
So, yesterday. What was that exactly?
Don't remember, or you want me to remind you?
You know exactly what I'm trying to say. What did it mean? Like to you?
I hope it was the beginning of something nice. Unless you see things differently.
Ugh. Can be such a gonk sometimes. Ruined my plans, you know that. Was gonna leave Night City in the dust for good. Even started packing. But now I think I gotta stay.
I think you'd be hard-pressed to find a better romance scene, both in terms of emotional connection and sheer physical beauty. After this scene with Judy, you are in a relationship with her. If you've played Cyberpunk, you know there are multiple endings. There are 4 main endings plus 2 alternate endings. Trigger warning for brief mentions of self-harm. The 4 main endings are referred to as the Devil, the Sun, the Star, and Temperance, with the 2 alternate endings being the secret ending and the ending where V and Johnny mutually decide to end things for good. Depending on which ending you choose to do, V's relationship with Judy will either continue or they will break up, no matter how nice you've been to her. In the end credits, various characters will call V and leave video messages, and they also change based on which ending you've chosen.
If you choose the Devil or the Sun endings, Judy will break up with V and leave Night City. If you choose the Temperance ending, where Johnny takes over V's body and V enters digital space with Alt, Johnny ghosts on Judy, and she is left worried about what might have happened to V. Damn, Johnny, that's harsh. If V commits suicide or dies during the quest, Don't Fear the Reaper, Judy leaves a tragic video message during the endgame credits of her crying, makeup streaked down her face. I think everyone can agree that the happiest ending in the game for a romanced Judy is the Star ending, where V and Judy leave Night City with the Nomad family.
You know, I used to mark time in stages, one juncture to the next. There was the mega building, hole in the wall phase, and then the group home phase, the Mox phase. Every time I thought I found a home, and every damn time I came away disappointed.
No matter which ending you choose, It is implied that V is on borrowed time thanks to Johnny's engram on the relic chip slowly eating away at V's mind. This ending is the most hopeful, though, and it's so rewarding to finally give Judy the home she's been searching for. Another trope of Judy's is the tragic rose, which is a character that's kind and good that can never catch a break. Judy even has multiple rose tattoos, and she endures tragedy after tragedy. I just cannot bring myself to do any other ending besides the star when I romance Judy. Okay, Jen, let's rate this romance. I'm sure your rating for the sex scene's going to be 10 out of 10, am I right?
Yeah. It's an obvious 10 out of 10 for me. But not because, oh my god, lesbians are hot and the video game show. Not because, oh my god, lesbians are hot and the video game showed pussy being eaten. No. It had to do with the fact that this feels like a scene written for women who are attracted to women. It isn't over the top moans and hair tosses. It's exploration through physical touch and a passionate and genuine connection. Not only do I think that the sex between them was great, I think it was written, blocked, animated, and sound engineered great. 10 out of 10.
I completely agree. I really think Judy has a very endearing and desperate romance in this game, which is why it's my personal favorite for Cyberpunk. If you don't know, there are only 4 romance options in the game: Judy, Panam, Carrie, and River. Judy is actually a foil to Panam, the only other feminine romance option. Both are incredibly hot-headed, want to leave Night City behind for good, and tend to leave a path of destruction in their wakes, but where Panam is full of grit and action running out in front, Judy prefers being behind the scenes and helping through her tech skills. I know we're talking about Judy right now, but both of their major flaws are their disregard for thinking about the consequences of their actions, and that is a problem that love cannot overcome unless you choose a very specific path in this game, aka the star ending. Judy uses V, especially a romanced V, as an emotional crutch. She's hopped from person to person, life raft to life raft, and is left destroyed when her person inevitably uses her or dies horribly because this is Night City. V can change that cycle in the star ending, and that's what makes it so heartbreaking when she says the following during the credits.
Well, you know me. I get mushy when it comes to sharing feelings. So, what the hell? I figured I'd just tell you here. V, I just wanted you to know that I'm happy. For the first time in my life.
I was expecting that to go on longer, sorry. For the first time in your life, Judy, it's so tragic. It's beautiful. This kind of I need you to live romance isn't healthy in the real world, but I do love that in a romance story. So I'm going to give Judy as a romance a solid 7 out of 10. And the only reason I'm docking points is because it's really hard to have a happy ending with her. Just, out of 6 endings, you get 1 where they don't break up or she's not destroyed. And I personally love it when they live happily ever after. So if you choose the star ending, 10 out of 10. That's the only way I play the game.
Uh-oh, I think you're losing some listeners in chat. Oh, no, not listeners. They're just like, I think it's valid though. Like the 7 out of 10, because if things don't work out, it destroys her. And a breakup shouldn't destroy you as a person.
Yeah, I mean, without considering the ending at all, I guess it would I would want to pick 10 I mean, it's hard for me to I wanna try and do it as unbiased as possible, which is hard because I Judy's my favorite for Cyberpunk, but I can't disregard the endings because that's the part of the story, you know?
Hmm.
It's not like Mass Effect 2 where the story for their romance wasn't over yet
Yeah.
for the most of them. So it's like with Cyberpunk, this is it as far as we know. Maybe they're gonna make a sequel. I know there's a big DLC planned for next year, but, as far as I know, 1 out of 6 times Judy ends up happy, and the part that gets me is, like, she really lives for V, and, you know, like I said, I like that in a story, but if she were really my girlfriend, that would be a problem. She would need some therapy at the very
Yeah.
least or, so, yeah, I definitely think the sex scene is the strongest aspect. It's also, like, you don't really get to know her too much in this game. It's not like there's, like, 2 missions really that
Mm.
it's about her.
Yeah.
But otherwise it's always Judy in the context of trying to find the other girl that she was obsessed with. She never dated Evelyn, but, like, I don't know. I'm sure if I was a, like, psychiatrist, I could psychoanalyze her and figure out why she attaches herself to people all the time.
Yeah.
But, for whatever reason, yeah. I hope we get to see more of her, though. She's my favorite for sure in Cyberpunk.
All right. And that, lovely listeners, is where we would usually end our show. But for this episode, we have a special guest. This man has been such a huge supporter of the show. Not only did he write our first review, he was also our first patron, and he never stops talking about Judy whenever romances are brought up in basically any context. Please welcome the co-host of the Witcher Lorecast and my beast mode, Toasty. Hello.
Hello. Wait, let me get the video on.
All right. And then let me fix things. Y'all can start talking. Welcome to
Please
the show.
don't fight me.
I'm not actually. That's totally fair. It's totally fair.
It's not anything really to do with Judy. It's more like how the romance. I do like the fact that other than where V dies for whatever reason, and that breaks her totally. When the other two endings, the son and the devil, she just breaks up with you and goes to Oregon. I feel like that's a happy too. It's just not a happy ending for your romance. But, like,
Yeah.
honestly, that one might be the healthiest ending for Judy as a person. Because in 6 months, she's going to be broken anyway, right? When V dies, inevitably, unless the DLC is going
That's
to tackle
probably
that.
what the DLC is supposed to be about.
Yeah.
At least I would assume so.
Yeah. Okay, wait. Toasty, introduce yourself to our listeners.
Wait, do I? Do I have to though? That's the question.
Well, I mean,
This
maybe.
could be, especially if
should
this
be.
is it's a new season, a new cycle, a new game. So somebody could be finding us through Cyberpunk for the first time. So let our audience know your preferred name on the internet and your pronouns.
All right. Well, I mean, Genesis did introduce my name already. I am Toasty, another host on the Robots Radio network, and I use he/him pronouns.
Thank you. All right. Why, out of all the people that we know that absolutely love Judy, why'd we pick you? Can you give us a little bit of your origin story and how you came to love Cyberpunk?
Yeah. So, I am one of the hosts of the Witcher Lorecast. So obviously, I have a pretty long-standing relationship with CD Projekt Red Games for obvious reasons, and I was very much excited about this game for years before it came out. I believe, like, I heard about it like 3 or 4 years before it actually released. And I was just like watching like people posted videos of like speculations and stuff like that, or like the news that we got. And so I was very hyped about this game. And then, of course, once I started playing it, I generally choose female characters to start. So by happy accident, because I didn't actually like cheat to look at like how to do things, I just like, because I chose a female character, I got to romance Judy, and it was great. It was great.
I love that you almost kind of blush every time that you start talking about her. It's adorable.
I say I fell in love with this woman like the moment I saw her, and you see her like right at the beginning, and I was like, oh, wonderful. Oh dear.
Oh no.
Blurry.
What?
Get me good. Okay.
There we go.
Do you know what about Judy initially was like, oh my gosh, I love her. I want to romance her. Do you know what it was? I know what it was for me. I'm interested to hear what it is for you.
So, I do typically like my nerdy girls, and she is Hispanic, and I typically tend to favor Hispanic women. My wife is Hispanic. Most of my exes are as well. So, it's typically where I've been most of my life. So, it was just like, okay, this is everything that I want in a woman. Why have you done this to me?
So it was initial physical attraction, and then you learn that she's a tech nerd, and everything just kind of fell into place.
You kind of learn she's a tech nerd like right off the jump, but yeah.
Mhm.
Oh.
Yeah. I mean, she's super gorgeous. But I also love, like, she's so different from everyone else because she has so much empathy, and I feel like she's the literal only character that exhibits any empathy in this game, unless you play as, like, a nice V, who can also do that for others. But it's so she just is she sticks out like a sore thumb, you know? That's what I initially was attracted by, other than her being super hot, but I was just like, "Oh my gosh, she's so nice." Like, she has such a kind heart, and as you can see right here, super, super cute smile, and, like, she's just so sweet. So I was like, "Oh my gosh, okay. Well, I love you." That was what I liked about her.
And of course, the tattoos, they definitely do it as well. I mean, especially sharks with freaking laser beams. Okay, she has that tattoo. How can you not, right?
I was so mad. I'm still mad because I haven't, like, first of all, huge gripe with this game will forever and always be that there are no tattoo parlors anywhere. Like, what? You can't alter your tattoos or get more, and the selection of tattoos are so limited in the character creation. And when I first started, I was like, okay, whatever, it's fine. And then I play the game and I see the Moxes, and I'm like, I want their tattoos so badly. They have the coolest looking tattoos, like obviously Judy being one of them, but other Moxes too that you see in the game. And you can't get any Mox tattoos, and you can't even align yourself with any gang at all, which is kind of weird. I thought you'd be able to do that. But yeah, those are my two gripes. I want the Mox tattoos, and I want a tattoo parlor like in the game so I can go get more whenever I want. But no.
Yeah. Customization in this game was not as great as I would have expected, unfortunately.
Yeah, and it came out what, November 2020? Now we would have had something released, like some more stuff. I don't know. But it's still there's plenty to do, plenty to see. So it's still worth it. But about Judy, did you learn anything new about her listening to the episode?
I mean, no offense. You obviously did your research. But no, I did not. Because I've definitely done this romance a few times.
Yeah, that's totally valid. There have been a couple of episodes where I haven't learned anything new, and I was like, I didn't need to do any research on this one because I already knew all the things. But that's good. It helps give us a little bit of validation that we are doing our due diligence and getting all the research in there.
Yes, Toasty approves of this Judy episode. So,
Oh, yay!
Oh, Toasty approved. Yeah, and if anyone ever wants to know about the research, I literally farm and APA. So just at me, and I will show you where I got my shit.
Mm-hmm.
No in-text citations, but
No,
I'm not going to go that far.
because that would bother me. I hate them, and I delete them as soon as possible. Are there any key factors that we missed, or things that would have brought more depth to this romance?
so unless I zoned out for it, which is entirely possible, I don't think y'all didn't mention any of the post 1.5 editions, did you?
No.
No.
Okay.
This is just solid game. I mean, it's texts mainly, right? I was trying to find
Yeah.
and I haven't played through it. But if you want to go elaborate.
Okay, so yeah, it's not like anything too crazy. It's pretty much mostly texts. You can also like go into her apartment, and if you sleep in the bed, she will join you, so you can just wake up next to an adorable sleeping Judy, which is great. But so the text sequence is there's like stuff about like the brain dance she's producing from like your dive, and then there's a part where she texts you and she's like, "Hey, I think I messed up." And you're like, of course, like, "Oh, what does that mean?" And she's like, "I may have accidentally sent your number to my grandma." And so you go through this sequence. Her grandmother texts you and just grills you for information about who you are. Do you really love my granddaughter? You know, like, what are your aspirations? And essentially, you know, I think there's some options where you can just be a complete a-hole, but like, if you pick like the actual answers that normal people would give, then like she ends up being like, "I like you, I approve," and then just you never hear from her again. It's great.
That's adorable.
Aww.
Yeah.
I like that. I actually really like the text mechanics in this game. Like, just that is so cool that you can reply and they give you different replies, so you feel like you have. It's almost like a dialogue tree, but through text, you know. So it's really fun because it kind of makes it feel a little bit more real too. Like, it's not just conversations. Like, you can call her, you can text her, and I know, I like it. So I'm glad they added more. I forgot to say anything about that, but I mean, it's not really like plot, just like little fluff, which is good.
It's just more game, like, feel like you're actually like living it
dating
rather than
somebody.
just yeah.
Yes, give us more content. We will take more. Thank you.
Of course.
There is one
Okay.
audio. Oh, sorry. I was like, there is one
No,
audio
go ahead.
clip. There is one audio clip that I found while watching, and I was like, I don't know exactly how to work this into the script for tonight, but I was like, you know what? I'll play it now just because I found it really cute and funny.
I was just thinking of you. And before you ask, no, you weren't wearing clothes.
It's just like,
Isn't that when she calls you to ask you to come dive with her? Or
I
is
thought
that
it was after.
I can't remember.
It happens. It happens anytime you go to talk to her after the romance has happened.
Right.
Okay.
So anytime you go to
haven't
talk to
romanced
her
her in
or
a
you
long
call
time.
her, she says that line. So
It's cute. I like it. Now let's go into not cute stuff, maybe. Okay, wait. I found I found this article. I think Jen might have told you about it already, but I found this article that I thought was really interesting because it was a point of view I had not yet considered. And it's regarding mods when it comes to modding sexuality of game characters that have deliberate and very like out sexualities. For instance, Judy, there's a mod to make her bi so that male V can romance. And we wanted to discuss it because the article I read was, obviously they had a big problem with that mod because they're like, Judy is a lesbian. Like, I know in the game without mods, if you play as male V, like in the dive situation, if you look at her butt, she'll be like, stop looking at my butt. If you're male V, but she like flirts back female V, and there's like a couple instances of that in the game. And I was wondering, what do you think about that?
So, I'm not entirely sure if it's been changed or how they've done with that mod. But I remember whenever it first came out, I did download it and looked into it to see like how weird it was. Because I was like, this seems weird. And whenever I did it initially, they didn't mod it in a way that made the romance like a full romance. It was just at the part where like female V would be able to initiate the romance culmination scene, essentially. Like you can just do that, but like it didn't change any of the other voices. So like you try to flirt with her as male V and she still rejects you. So it was awful. Like it's just a bad mod in general, if that's what they were going for. Not to mention I get that they're video game characters, so they don't actually exist, but like a lot of us play these games in a way to be like, it's a role-playing game, so you want them to feel real. So if you acknowledge that they're real, like while you're playing, then that becomes a violation of like their choice at that point.
Mhm.
Like, so it's I don't agree with the mod in many ways of like just that it's a bad mod and that it's a bad principle to make a mod out of. So I mean,
Yeah.
I wasn't a fan. No.
Yeah, I guess for me, it's like I don't play on PC, so I can't mod anyway. But it's just like it's just annoying, I guess, because it's like if you want to have straight sex as a male character with a female character, you have a plethora of options, and there are only so many like lesbian characters in video games that you can romance. Like Liliana. Like who else can
Liliana's
you
not a
really think of?
lesbian.
Yeah, exactly. See, she's not even a lesbian. And I think the problem specifically with Judy, and the same thing happened with Sarah in Inquisition, and in Inquisition, but they made mods for that too, making them bi. But it's like those characters specifically have stories about their sexuality. Like it is a part of who they are as a person. Dorian especially, like he freaking fled the Tevinter Imperium so he could live his life proudly because his dad was a bigot, And then if you make a mod to make him bi so that you can romance him as a female inquisitor, that's defeating his whole backstory. Why do you even play the game? Just go make a dating sim game. Go play that. Go read some romance novels. I don't know, or just watch porn. But like this is a character who has a very specific backstory.
Mhm.
Don't change it because like this article actually went pretty far and even suggested that it's along the same lines of thinking as conversion therapy. Like, oh, this gay person just hasn't met the right straight person to make them straight. And I'm not sure if I would go so far as to say that's the same line of thinking, but I can see why they arrived at that conclusion on the same hand, Like it's seems problematic to me. It's not like she exists as part of a story, but she doesn't exist for sexual gratification. Like it's not a porn game. So
Yeah.
don't do that.
Yeah, I mean, that's just it seems as if, like, and I get that we're, like, leaning that direction, but it still doesn't feel like we have a lot of, like, proper representation in games yet. And this is an actual, like, proper example of someone who's, like, has their own sexuality. It is not just a player sexual character, is legitimately a lesbian, and you cannot romance her unless you are a woman. So it's definitely don't fuck with the representation, people. We're trying to get better at this. Could we not go backwards in the modding community, please?
Agreed.
So,
And especially because it's something that she knew so early on in her life that she was attracted to women. Like, it's not something that they just like slapped onto her character profile late in life. No, she knew as a little kid. Like, that's why she stole a child's doll, because she was attracted to women. Like, it is so written in there. Please don't mod it away.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people use this like, oh, but they recorded lines with Male V's voice, and they did that with, Caden in Mass Effect 1. But it's like, that's not necessarily because of cut content. Like, the way that video games are developed and made with voice actors, like if you have a character with two different voices, because you can choose your sex, they have to read every line that character says. So it's not, those lines don't exist as recordings in their other sex's voice because they were intended to be bi romances. It's because that's just how game development works. They had to record all the lines. And I guess that makes it easy for modders to make these mods, but it's not because it was intended to exist. If that was how they wanted to ship the game, it would have been shipped. And like, mods at their core are supposed to improve the game, and I just don't see this kind of mod as being that. It's not improving the game, it's not making it better for players. It's not making it better for players in the way that it should be anyway. It's making it better for some players to, I don't know, get their rocks off, I guess. Just watch the video on YouTube, guys.
So overall, do you feel that we did this romance justice? Do you agree with our ratings for the night?
I mean, I guess I reluctantly agree with the 7 out of 10, only because you have fair points. So, but I do. I don't know. This is just my perspective on it, was just because yes, a breakup shouldn't like ruin you in this sense, and obviously yes, like I'm pretty sure it's a fair statement to say that most people in the Cyberpunk game probably need to go to therapy, because just the nature of Cyberpunk generally leans towards that. I just think it's like in a way where she's lost so much already. I think it's just kind of to the point of like to lose that thing again, like with how much that's already happened, it just sometimes at a point when you just feel like you have nothing left. And I guess in this, like, she has a grandmother, but they don't really make a point of that until after the 1.5 stuff. Like, I don't remember if I knew that her grandmother was still alive before 1.5. So it does put a weird like twist on it. But initially, whenever before that stuff, I definitely would have been like she lost her family, her town. She lost like all of her friends with the clouds stuff. She lost Evelyn, who I think they make it pretty obvious that she was in love with Evelyn, regardless of that was healthy or not. It still was a thing. Not to mention that like she was the one watching Evelyn, and Evelyn like did that under her like supervision, and it still happened. So like that sort of responsibility she probably would have felt for that. And then if you like choose that route for like V, it's just kind of like this. You're in a city with you've lost so much already, and you've at this point where you're at the bottom, you have nothing left. Like, sometimes it's just hard to come back from that. And this is a tragic universe. Like, Cyberpunk is meant to be like a tragic game. Most endings aren't happy. By example of the endings of the game, you only have one option for a happy ending, and you know what? It's still not even that happy. V's still going to die. So that's just kind of the nature of the game that they're going with. Like, it's just hard. So, and I'm used to this, obviously, because it's the same concept in The Witcher. Like, you don't really have happy endings in The Witcher either.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Honestly, like, the better endings for her, if you don't go with the Aldecados and go with, like, the star ending, the Sun and the Devil, where she just breaks up with you and moves to Oregon, like, that's okay. Like, that's average. At least she has her grandma to, like, help her get over the breakup. And obviously, I think the two worst ones are Temperance and where you die for some reason. Like, she's broken up about you dying. But, like, for me, when I watched the ending for Temperance, when Johnny, you give Johnny V's body, you see him get on the bus and leave Night City, and you just hear Judy like, hey, can you tell me you're okay? Like, freaking Johnny, who's been around for the whole ride, this whole game, knows you love Judy, and you gave him your freaking body so he can get a second chance. And he's just like, peace out, bitches. I'm not even going to call your girlfriend and tell her that you are now Pixels in Mikoshi or whatever, Like, you'd think he would at least do that for V, but no, he doesn't. He just ghosts her. And that to me is also a horrible ending for her because, like you said, she's lost everything and now she doesn't even have closure for this.
Mm-hmm.
He's just gone.
Yeah, I've never done that ending, personally. Like, I've tried all of them except that one, just because of like the circumstance of the situation. I was just like, I don't really feel like give that up, and I keep meaning to. I'm on a Street Kid playthrough that the intention is to do that route and see what happens. But yeah, so that does suck. Like the him ghosting. That's unfortunate.
Freaking rude.
And then of course, the suicide ending is like I just remember doing it because I was like, okay, I'm gonna try it. I want to see what happens, and I've never done it again because I just couldn't. Like, I watched those cutscenes at the end, and I was like, this is hard because I'm fairly certain that like the intention is to believe that like if you romance Judy completely kills herself. You don't see it, but it seems like that's where, as far as like the context of the clip, which then it's just like, nope, nope, I don't want to do this anymore. Everyone just hates you. This, God.
There is the other ending that I haven't really heard you guys talk about, where she sides with the corpos and goes up to a space station.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And then which one?
I have them up.
I can't remember that clip.
So they don't really break up and they don't really stay together either. She's like, Vigo is talking about, let me stay up here, get everything figured out, and once I'm healthy enough to come back, then I'll come back to you. But then it doesn't go any further, and Judy just continues to message you going, please get back to Earth safely. Get back. And then we never find out if he makes it back.
Well, like, one of the options you don't. One of the options you just go into surgery and you're done. Like,
it's
so
the Devil, Hanako's path or Arasaka's path, right? Those are the two options. The Arasaka ending is different if Takamura doesn't survive. Let's see. Hold on. I'm looking at the wiki right now. So
It was just a
for
tragic one to
Judy,
watch in general, honestly.
during the devil or the sun ending. So it says she dumps you. I think it's not like she dumps you. It's probably like in the credits where she will say that she's happy, like she's moved and that she's happy now, and sorry things had to end that way.
I feel like I remember what Jen said, where she's like expecting, like she doesn't.
She says that to you when you call her, and they're like they removed it. You call her from the space station. You're like, oh my god, I think I'm gonna throw up. Like they took it out of my head, and I don't trust them. But that's during the game still. It's not during the credits. During the credits is when she says like she moved to Oregon and stuff. Okay. So at least that's what the wiki says. I watched it, but I watched a lot of endings lately, so I could be wrong, but that's what the endings for Cyberpunk's fandom wiki says, is that the devil or the sun endings, that it says complete Judy's side jobs, have her as V's primary love, the devil's space station. Judy dumps V and says she's leaving Night City good, quote, shame things had to end this way.
Okay.
Which is, yeah. I think it's because you don't come back to Earth. I don't know.
I mean, you can. One of them it just doesn't show.
Yeah, one of them. I don't know. Hopefully, the DLC. Well, I guess we have to wait till next year, but that's what they said. It's coming out 2023. But apparently, it's going to be big. So hopefully, it's like the 6 months after, and you can. I said this in chat, but I was saying, I hope you can split, like you can get Johnny out of your head, save V, put Johnny into a cyber body, and then I'll romance Johnny. That would be awesome.
I doubt it.
Hate Keanu and love
Reeves
him.
Is expensive.
That's true. Oh, it was so awesome though. I love having him as a little douchebag buddy throughout the whole game.
I would especially like to romance him with his alternate skin.
Yeah, I would.
I just saw that for the first time today.
What would romance with him be like? Like he was
very passive aggressive.
Well, yeah, that too. But like he was in your head. That's something else I was thinking of. I'm like, what was he? Did he just like, like peak when you're having sex with Judy? Like he's there all the time. I think it's funny they didn't have him really comment on it. He comments on so many other things. He did comment on Judy before you got with her and was like, she's always looking at you like she really likes you. And at the end, he does like her.
I don't think I would like that. I mean, yeah, there's...
Oh, him. Not during it. I meant after. Like if he made like a side comment. During
he just takes control of the wheel for a moment just to be like, is this what it's like when women have sex? Dear God. And then she just goes away. Yeah. It's like, because we know that like sometimes it's towards the end really when the minds have like gotten close together. But like if he talks, it comes out of V's mouth too. So that would just be uncomfortable. You can hear
their voices layered. I don't think people in the game can hear that, but like as the player, that's Johnny talking.
No, people in the game, well, they can't hear Johnny's voice, but they can definitely tell. It's like,
but they can tell. Yeah, you're not V right now. I just thought I was just thinking of Judy's sex scene, and like if he like materialized in the corner really fast, I would have died laughing because he just pops up randomly in the game as you're playing. Like he'll just materialize, not say anything. Sometimes you see him everywhere.
Yeah.
I just think it's funny. I also think it's kind of an oversight that they didn't really have, not during that scene, but like make some kind of comment about any of the romances. He's always there. See that?
Yeah.
I can't remember. I think he's there during part of like the stuff where like he like pops up and like says a few things, but for the most part, it seems as if Johnny does respect your privacy, even though he like can't actually. He is forced to witness this, but he tries not to make it more awkward than like it could be. So
Yeah. He's such an interesting character. Like I would love to analyze because like I was just playing this mission today where you go with Judy to Clouds and you're trying to find Evelyn. Like I'm in the warehouse right now about to get her. But before when you're like, you go into Clouds and Johnny hates it. And when you leave, he's like, the only way that place will look better is if it's on fire or something. Like he wants to burn it down. And then we go to Jig Jig Street and it's like prostitutes on the corner and stuff. He loves the street. And it's so funny, like what he deems is too far and like, putting a doll chip in someone's head and making them basically just this compliant, passive body to do whatever you want with. Obviously, I mean, that's too far for most people, but in Night City, it's like, who knows what people's morality scales are. And it's interesting that Johnny, like the terrorist, he's like, no, that's too far. I hate that. Then he has like no empathy for anyone else. Like anytime someone's asking for help or you're going off to do something that he doesn't think is on the mission to go get Arasaka, he's just like, this is stupid. You're wasting our time. We're going to die because of you. It's just so funny to see what his priorities are and what he hates and what he doesn't hate. He's very interesting.
Well, I mean, I think Clouds in general is just like an unfortunate thing because it's like for anyone, and obviously there's a lot of correlation here for anyone that's seen the show Dollhouse. I can't remember what network that was on, but it's the same concept of where you like sign a contract to be a doll for a certain amount of time, and they can literally make you whoever they want you to be and like program you for certain things. But like in Dollhouse, it was like you could be programmed to be an assassin for a day. In Clouds, you're just like they're just whoever they want you to be in the bedroom, essentially. So I don't know. It's just like it was a creepy place. I didn't like it.
Yeah. They kind of play on that too when Judy hacks the chips and makes them fight, like know how to fight from their doll chips. I feel like that's kind of playing on that too.
Yeah.
The Dollhouse show. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, we're sitting really pretty at time, so I guess we have time for one more question. As someone who has done multiple playthroughs, what makes you want to come back each time?
I mean, everything that I've said today. I think at this point it's rather obvious how just how good I think that romance is. So, I feel like with Judy, there's like I feel like there's a personal level you can reach with her that you just like doesn't feel the same for everyone else. Like it feels like a more intimate than the others, because it's like River's like, we saved your nephew from this really bad guy, and then he's just kind of like, yo, want to smash? And it's like, no, not really. You're cool, but this has not felt like I've been developing towards a romance at all in this. And like I haven't played as a male V, except for like that trial, but like with Pan M, from the videos I've seen, it seems like a lot of the things you get doing the romance is the same as just being her friend. Like I don't feel like it's like a little bit of an extra like kick there, but like it doesn't quite, like, I don't know. I feel like it's the same relationship, just like in one you have sex with her.
Yeah.
And then for Carrie, Carrie's just a complicated one. I'm sure whenever you have that episode, it's going to be very interesting. Because I know there's a lot of controversy with him too. It's going to be interesting. So, well, just
Can't wait.
yeah. In the lore, he's bisexual, but in the game, they didn't make him that way. So it was like really like he's been married to a woman before and has kids. It's like it was just a weird thing. So, I don't know.
He was bi and then realized he's gay. Who knows? I don't know. I mean, I think with Judy, like I will 100% agree. She seems so much more like you have so much more of an emotional connection with her. And while I love that, and I think she's amazing, and you can like that's why I really because I don't know if anyone's learned this about me, but I'm not really one to have to very much enjoy like gratuitous sex stuff in games or media. But like with Judy, even though it was a highly sexualized scene, it also was so intimate and it was making love basically what you were watching, you know? And I think that's awesome. And I also think that's Judy's flaw right there too. Like she lets people in so fast. She latches onto people so fast. And so you really do get to experience that firsthand if you romance her. And then she's a beautiful person, so you have to make her happy. So choose the star ending. That's the only way to play it.
Yeah, it's definitely. I mean, I've definitely been guilty of latching on too fast. But that was mostly high school stuff. So who doesn't do that?
Yeah.
But
She's been on her own since like 14 or 16 or something. I can't remember when her grandparents moved to Oregon and she kind of took over the apartment and she's been alone taking care of herself far before she should have. But I mean, obviously Night City's not a perfect place to grow up. So I'm sure she has some emotional immaturity there. But no one's going to fault her for that because she is a heart of gold, unlike almost everyone else.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was one of the interesting aspects of she fought for what the Moxes are, because the whole thing with it, and granted, she would have ended in disaster, of course, but like the Moxes were made to protect sex workers from like the injustices they would face on the streets, and it was like so they would keep pimps and whatnot from like hurting their what's the word to use there, and stuff like that. And like Cloud's like Evelyn was an example where like someone got severely injured. They tossed her to the side. They gave her to a disgusting Ripper Doc who I can't help but beat him to death every single time that I play that part.
He's pretty gross.
Dude's real and like she's the only one that wanted to like stand up for that, and it's like this is the purpose of your gang. Like this is what you're supposed to do, but they just told her no, and it was like she still continued to fight for that. And again,
she's the most Mox, and then after you witness Susie Q and her argument, you're like, oh, you can't bring strays in here, and Judy's trying to convince her to take care of all these people she's finding. And then you talk to Susie Q afterward, and she's like, well, we don't do that anymore. We're business now. And so it's like she just became like the Tiger Claws, basically. The only difference is at Lizzie's bar, it's all brain dances versus actual people. But still, it's like, what's the difference? Judy's literally the moxiest Mox. So we'll always stand with her on that.
Yeah, they lost sight of the goal there. And that's it's an unfortunate reality of Cyberpunk, is that eventually the money will corrupt and you will lose your humanity.
It's an unfortunate reality.
That's what reality. It is. It's a dark future. So
we need Judy's to remind us of what we're supposed to be like and what we're supposed to care about. Oh, geez. I just hit my desk. Sorry.
Don't punch things. All right. I think before we wrap up the show, is there anything that you want to shout out or plug, Toasty?
Well, like I said at the beginning, I am one of the co-hosts of the Witcher Lorecast on the Robots Radio Network. Genesis is one of my patrons, like I am one of hers. So there's specifically an episode, I don't know the number, but we do have a patron chat episode about romance.
Mhm.
So if this interests you, you should probably go listen to that episode.
I don't remember what number it was, but it was Valentine's Day, so it was the February episode.
That is true. So the one that would have taken place at the end of February. So that would interest you, or if you just like The Witcher in general, we talk about that stuff over there. And that's about it.
All right. Thank you a million times. Freaking thank you. I love you for coming on and talking all about Judy. Big hearts.
I mean, I kind of like threatened and blackmailed you into like one that came on to talk about Judy. So no,
yeah.
I didn't actually do that.
No, I mean, I'm pretty sure I got a few threatening text messages, and you will never be my best friend ever again if you don't let me on this episode. No.
No, there was definitely some messages that was like, I don't know if this friendship will last if Genesis gives Judy a low score. But other than that, that wasn't a problem. That wasn't a problem. So
no, it was good, and I can honestly say that if I didn't like it, I wouldn't give it a high review. I gave my Ultimate Romance a low score on the rating because that's what it was. And so I think, if I didn't like it, I would tell you. But it was fucking hot. Yeah. So we're good to go.
That's why my rating was what it was, because I was trying to be unbiased. If it's up to me, I would just be like, yeah, romance Judy, 10 out of 10 forever. Which, pretty much that, but
yeah, it depends on the ending. That's a lot of these things. So
yeah. Mm-hmm. All right. If you like what you're hearing, please be sure to review us on iTunes or give us a rating on Spotify and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. You can find me in our Two Girls One Ship chat on the Robots Radio Discord channel, and come give us a follow on all the social medias and on Patreon at Two Girls One Ship. Links to those are in the description.
I'm on the Robots Radio Discord as well, and on our own Two Girls One Ship Discord server now, where we nerd out on all our favorite CGI significant others. Be sure to check out our live stream on Twitch and YouTube on Fridays at 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 7:30 p.m. Pacific Time. Our podcast episodes release on Mondays because you need at least one good thing on a Monday.
So, thanks for listening. And remember,
beauty's in the eye of the controller.
Yay!
Yay! Oh, Toasty, I have to tell you, my sister texted me. I think she's asleep now, but she texted me to watch this a little bit, and she was like, "Oh my god, Toasty's hair is amazing. It's so shiny." Yeah.
But apparently, I don't take proper care of my hair, so
that's probably why it's so nice. It's probably why it's so nice.
That's what I get told by Cloudy and Jen all the time.
Hey, no.
Wait. How do you take care of your hair?
He doesn't.
I mean,
how is it wrong?
Before I dyed it, it was I just shampooed it and I brushed it and that was it. And I did I just used like Head and Shoulders. It was like basic stuff. Now I freaking have the purple shampoo and conditioner. Specifically just the conditioner, because when my hair gets wet, it's such a pain in the ass. So it makes it a bit easier.
I was going to ask, I'm like, how are you maintaining that gorgeous silver without purple anything?
Yeah, no, I haven't.
It looks silver. Okay.
It's like blondified at the front a little bit. You can probably see, but It's whatever.
You gotta
I'm
turn
just-
off your background because Judy keeps overtaking your hair.
That's fine.
Oh, no.
Judy can overtake anything. She has
She
permission.
can do whatever she damn wants.
Yeah. No, that's fine. Oh,
Yeah,
oh.
no, I love it. I was like, I don't even know. I told her, I was like, I don't even, it looks so nice because I know you had to bleach it a shit ton to get it to that level because your natural hair is like a level freaking 9 or 8. No, like a 10. I'm sorry, I'm going the wrong way. Like a level 3. Jesus.
Don't know what that means.
So
but I
like
had dark brown hair, so
lighten it. Like level 1 hair is like blackest black, and level 10 or 12, depending, some scales go up to 12, some only 10, is like the lightest natural blonde. And so like that's what they like when you're using bleach to lighten hair, certain levels, when you're towards the bottom of the scale, it takes a lot more bleach sessions and more upkeep to keep it at a lighter level. Like, this is my natural hair, but man, I have tried to get to that on my own and not go to a salon, and I can never do it. Like, you just need to pay a stylist to do it, I guess.
I mean, I paid like $350, so
It's
that would have been good.
expensive.
Yeah,
That's why I tried to
and
do it
I
at
was there
home.
for hours.
Yeah.
I wanted to die.
Yeah. One time when I was getting my hair, because I was a dumbass and put henna in my hair, like red henna, because my hair used to be fake red, and I was trying to get it out, and the longest I was there doing a session for like bleaching it out, 6 hours.
Mm-hmm. That's about how long you
and
were
I
in the
didn't eat
chair.
beforehand. It was a dumb decision to not eat. Yeah. And now I just let my natural hair grow out because I was tired of that. Maybe I'll get highlights someday.
I'm not going back. I'm just letting mine grow out, so I don't really care. I don't know.
It looks good.
It does.
A shadow root is trendy. Okay.
One day,
Sure.
Toasty, one day I am going to make my way to you and I'm going to play with your hair.
Yeah, I would love to braid it.
Right.
I used to braid so many people's hair when I was in the Navy, like French braiding or doing some Dutch braids or waterfall braids, like fancy little fantasy elf braids. Love it. Some Vikings braids.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
I feel like I would rock a Viking braid.
Mm-hmm. One of those Lagatha like braid mohawks going. Be cool.
Ooh.
If you could do the Legolas, yeah, I agree, Apollo. Definitely do it. That's a fishtail braid, actually. There's
braids.
2 tiny 3-strand braids, and then like a big old fishtail braid at the back, half up.
Yeah,
it's nice. Fishtail braids are hard. I'm not that good at them, but I can try.
One day we will
okay.
have a big giant in real world meeting, and everybody can
I
just
would love that.
I'm just gonna record the Witcher Lorecast, and Jen's just gonna be standing here, just braiding my hair the whole time,
and not say anything.
I believe you. So, no, this was fun. I've been excited for this episode for so long.
Yeah,
This was the one I wanted from the start. I was like, how long do I have to wait for? That's the question.
8
7
months.
Yeah.
7 months. Yeah, we're almost. What's today? Is this 8 months or 7 months?
7 because November.
Not June yet.
Nope.
We're almost there.
November,
Yeah.
December, January, February, March, April, May.
Yeah, so 7 months. Well,
I'm
that's
almost
cool.
a year.
I
I just
know.
realized.
Well, 7 months.
is
We're just over half a year.
No, I'm almost
Yeah.
at a year
Oh.
on my podcast. Because we started in
That's
June.
so cool.
You started for my birthday.
Started for my birthday.
My birthday.
Oh.
Oh, my birthday.
Oh.
When is your birthday?
The 7th.
Oh, shit.
I know.
15th.
When's your birthday? Oh.
15th, yeah.
Who's older?
Obvious. Well,
Obviously. Fuck you, dude.
I'm a child here. That was this.
I always forget that you're a baby, so sorry.
I'm going to be 25 this year. I am a child.
Wait,
I know.
I keep forgetting how baby you are.
Yeah.
You're very mature, I will say. I've known some youngins that don't. I mean, I don't know how mature you are, like in real life, but at least on a podcast, present yourself well.
Mm.
I mean, I did mature fast because my mom was a deadbeat drug addict, and so I had to get a job pretty early on to try and just to keep myself fed. If you saw pictures of me from high school, I was abhorrently skinny because I just wasn't eating food. So I had to deal with a lot of shit. So I matured pretty fast. Just how it is.
Yep. But now you have
I
freedom and agency.
Delivered that so casually, and I am sorry.
No.
Vada had more pain than I did, and I was like, I feel bad about this now.
No, don't feel bad. I just, as a mother, I'm like, come here, child. Let me feed you and give you a hug. That's all I wanted to do.
No, I'm good. Yes, I have freedom and agency, and I am
food,
good.
Right?
And food, yes.
Okay,
yes.
Good.
Went too much food, probably, but whatever.
That's better than too little.
Yeah, well, I mean, they say that when you get married, you start getting, and that was definitely the case for me.
Oh yeah, you gain weight when you get married. It's fact.
Yeah,
I'm waiting for it to stop.
Oh,
I'm
well.
100 pounds. I have 100 pounds more on me than I do. So it's a lot.
That is a lot. I have 40 pounds more, but I also had a kid. I'm starting to lose weight, but it's whatever.
I weigh about 100 pounds more than when Jace and I first started dating. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Then again,
it's the boobies.
100-pound tits. Holy shit, dude!
I was like, but how much of that weight is the boobs, Jin? Like that's
what I said. It's the well, because mine was like I mean, if y'all don't know, I got a breast reduction last year, and when I weighed myself the day before and the day after my surgery, and I was 10 pounds lighter.
Mm-hmm.
Like they literally removed 10 pounds of boob off of my body. That is a lot of weight, and it's great. It's great. Being able to not have that on my chest is great. My spine is straightening. It's nice.
Oh, you're not going to be a 5'3" hobbit anymore? Might grow a couple inches?
I'm not going to have I was more like
5'3" makes you a hobbit? Oh dear.
I was more like a witch, like a forest hag, just like hobbling along. Like I was top heavy.
Yeah.
What? My wife's 4'10". What is... 5'3" is tall for her.
I'm 5'6".
Oh, okay.
So I guess I am tall compared to your wife.
Everyone's tall compared to my wife.
How tall are you?
Except for children.
Tall.
I'm 6'1".
Oh my god. I love this dynamic. My tallest.
That's
amazing. That's cute.
Yeah.
My husband's the exact same height as me, which is also cute.
That's interesting.
Yeah, he's little. And our child is little, according to the pediatrician on the scales. She's short. And I'm like, yep, that tracks.
I mean, it doesn't always work that way. I'm pretty sure for my uncle, my grandfather, I think, is 5'8", and then their mothers, they have separate mothers, but I believe that one was 5'1", one was 5'3". My Uncle Marshall is my height. He's 6'1", and my Uncle Clint is 6'7". So it doesn't always work that way.
Yeah, my dad is 6'4", but I didn't get any of that.
I think his wife is also 5'3", so there's an even bigger dynamic as far as height goes.
More than a foot difference. That's like a foot and a half difference. That's crazy.
Oh yeah.
Me at 5'9". Cool. My
tall.
Sorry. Oh, you're tall. Yeah,
I am. So I'm 5'9". Jace is about 6'1", and then I know. And then Lex is already 5 foot at 11. At 11 years old, she is 5 feet.
I'll wear heels when we meet for real next year. That way we can like be the same height for a picture or something.
I mean, it's just
great.
Yeah. I guess at least there's no straining for kissing there.
No.
It's like because I have to lean down and my wife has to stand up.
That's so cute, though. I love it. Always have you seen those TikToks where like couples who are vastly different trade clothes, and like the tall ones always like tight because they're wearing their shorter partner's clothes, and then like the shorter partner's being dwarfed by this giant T-shirt. Love it.
She can put on my clothes if she wants, but I am too big to. I cannot. There's just no way. Like it would rip. So, so she can wear children's shoes and stuff. So yeah.
Oh, I can too, but only like the biggest children's shoe size.
What? You seem angry about this.
Yeah,
because kids' shoes are a lot cheaper than adult shoes. So my size 10 women feet can't fit into anything kid side. I know.
You got big feet too.
Fuck you, Toasty.
I have size 13 feet, okay?
Okay. Yeah.
Which would be size 15 in women,
Yeah. But you're also like 4 inches taller than me.
I'm like 7.5 or 8, which is 8 is an average. I feel like
it's tiny.
But eight's pretty average. I think my wife's foot is like this big.
Yeah, I was like, I'm sure she doesn't fit in like the big. Like I can only fit in like the biggest. I can't remember.
I think she's
only
a
own
4.
one pair of children's shoes. Yes, it's itty bitty.
I think she's a 4.
I only own one pair. But my husband's also a size 8, but in men's. Like,
let's do that.
His feet are almost
where we all randomly rearrange
like
on our
a little
chairs.
bit bigger. It's crazy.
It was useful for sports because she could just buy the children's cleats, which are like my cleats were like 100. I was like very jealous.
Oh man!
Because those
Maya.
Oh yeah, she's been back there the whole time.
I saw the spiritual cat. Whenever you were filming, she was standing there, but she was just phased out. It was cool. I have to get up at 4 a.m., so I'm going to go.
Ew.
Yeah.
I don't get up at 4 a.m., but I am sleepy. I'm so sorry. Have a good time at work, though, tomorrow.
Okay. Thanks for having me.
Yes. Good night and goodbye. And stay safe on the path.
Oh, geez.
Oh, all right. Well, we are still live on Twitch. I think we should say good night and much love to all of our listeners and chatters tonight. We got a new follow on Twitch, and then a new follow on YouTube while we were up on that tonight. So thank you so much to our new followers for the night. I need to go in and change. I don't know if the stream heard it or if you heard it, but when the follower on YouTube popped up, it played a little jingle and everything like that. And so that's why it like randomly stopped mid-sentence and was like, I need to re-record that because on my end I could hear the jingle.
I didn't hear it.
Good night. Yeah.
Good night. I'm so glad everyone enjoyed themselves, and thanks for sticking around if you're here. I'm barely here. I'm so sleepy.
I mean, it's 9:00 here. I'm probably gonna go. Who knows what I'm gonna do for the rest of tonight? Probably finish this beer, eat my dinner, and continue my Inquisition.
And I'm gonna have to get used to doing it 7:30 instead of 9:30.
Oh yeah. We'll have to figure that out.
That'll be different for me.
No, not play Last of Us. Apollo, it is on the list, legitimately and honestly. Last of Us is on the list. But I'm currently playing Dragon Age Inquisition, and I feel like that one's pretty damn important.
Yeah, but you're also going to be playing it for foreseeable future. Because there's so much to do in there. Last of Us is pretty linear, so you could probably get it done quicker. But, and I'm not sure, I mean, neither of them are anywhere close on the schedule. So, well, yeah, no. So it's not like you have to play one before the other.
But I'm actually invested in Inquisition. Like, I want to play it.
You should be.
I am.
It's a good time.
Aren't you proud of me?
I am. In
the beginning, I was like, I don't want to play Origins anymore, but I have to finish it. And now I'm like, oh, I want to play Inquisition. I want to do all the things.
I mean, it's a big difference between Origins and Inquisition. Inquisition, I love. Origins has a special place in my heart forever because it was my first BioWare game and introduced me to what games could be and what they were before a lot of other people started picking up what BioWare was putting down. But it's probably not very playable nowadays because it's quite old, and I would really like them to remaster it. Please.
Yes. I would love a Legendary Dragon Age edition.
I would love it.
But all right, my dear, I will let you go. We will end the stream here. Good night, stream.
Good night. Ciao, Chimuse.